Okay, so let's talk about the last page of the notes, which is trig ratios of quadrantal angles. So I'm going to zoom in on the top problems here. And you may notice I wrote down the ratios that we learned about earlier in that at the top of the page. You may want to pause the video and write those down because those are going to be important for what we're doing. Okay, when you're dealing with quadrantal angles, which are the ones that land on the x or the y-axis for their terminal side, it's impossible to construct a right triangle to do SOHCAHTOA to get the ratios. So what we do is instead of referring to the right triangle to get those values, we refer to these things that we had. So we're going to calculate the sine of 360, and you'll see how this works. The first thing I have to do is basically draw the angle in standard position. So initial side, go around 360. And then what I'm going to do is think about what a point would be on this. So if I move some distance away from the origin, that's R, and I'm moving R in the positive direction, right? So this would be the point R in the X direction, 0 in the Y. So if I wanted to find the sine of 360, I would look at this ratio, which is Y over R. So that would be 0 over R. And 0 over R would be 0. So the sine of 360 is going to be 0. The tangent, again, start by drawing the angle. So 3 pi over 2 is 270 degrees. If I were to draw a point here, I would be moving 0, comma, and then however far I moved from the origin, which is R, but I'm moving in a negative direction here, so that's going to be negative R. So if I wanted to find the tangent of this, the tangent of 3 pi over 2 is y over x. So the y value is negative R, and the x value is 0. Now this is a number divided by 0, which is undefined. So it is possible for, when you land on these quadrantal angles, for some of the values to be undefined. So I'm going to let you try the bottom two, and then you can pause the video and unpause it when you're ready to see the answers. All right, so here are the bottom two. I'm going to try to get the ratios in there where we can see everything at once. I'm going to draw cosine of pi. Pi is 180 degrees. So if I consider a point on this, my x value will be however far I am from the origin, which is R, but it's in a negative direction. And my y value would be 0. So cosine is x value over R. So the cosine of pi, my x value of this point is negative R, and I'm putting that over R. So that would end up being negative 1. And then cosecant of 90, draw the angle. Think of a point. I would be moving 0, and I would be moving the distance from the origin, which is R, but in the positive direction. So my point is 0R. My cosecant is R over Y. So the cosecant of 90 degrees is R over my Y value, which is R. So that would end up being 1. Now, we're going to talk about next week an easier way of remembering these and finding these things, but for now, this is the way that you do it.